These were made from bronze clay, and I fired them in a kiln, which is what bronze clay requires. I first did a burn-off stage in open air with the intent of burning the binder off so there's nothing remaining between those tiny particles to prevent them from drawing deeply together at the next stage when you put them in charcoal in a steel container and fire at the high temperature. That is when the metal sinters or fully fuses together into one solid piece, which you can do because there's no binder left in between. What I found set this bronze clay apart from others that I've used is that I was able to pretty seamlessly add more clay to the fired bronze and refire, which I did 3 times experimentally until my seam that ran along one side of this piece, because I'd used a 2-part mold, which you can see more about in the previous post, was gone. And while most of the clay I was adding was to cover that seam, there were some places where there was some pitting, which is something I find is pretty common, like right here when using other bronze clays as well. And so I was able to fill that in. And again, what I loved about using this clay is that when I took it back out, you couldn't really see where the edge of my patches were, which I've experienced in the past. And while I could blend in a patch by doing polishing, I didn't want to polish this piece because you can see that each time I fired the bronze, it emerged with a different surface patina, which is exciting because that's kind of luck of the draw. Here you can see that I fired 3 pieces together, and all of these were using the Aussie metal clay gold bronze, and all of them look a little different depending on the texture of the piece and maybe how many times it's been fired, maybe where it was in the firing pan. I highly recommend this clay, and you do need a kiln to fire it.